All right. We're back. Black and Blue Podcast. Travis, black belt. Emmett, blue belt. We're back with episode 9, Surviving the Spazz.
Learning to control your emotions and emotions as a white belt.
Can you tell that he's really proud that he just came up with it? It's actually a really good way to put it, but It is very good, and he's being very proud of it. Also, I'm just going to let Emmett tell one little story. If you notice on the video how we're a little bit off again, like we had like, what is it, 7 episodes? 7 episodes of good.
Yeah, something like that. I think 6 of good.
Yeah, then we had potato.
Yeah.
And now we have Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
Why do we have Oompa Loompa again?
Okay, this is true. So 2.5 weeks ago, I spilled water on my MacBook. $1,200 to fix it and recover the data. And I was like, man, I can't believe how lucky I am. Those guys fixed it. Apple expert in Calgary. Those guys are awesome. And then yesterday morning, I spilled coffee on my MacBook. And I took it in, and thankfully those guys gave me a deal, but it was $700 to fix it. So I've spent $2,000 fixing a $2,000 laptop in the last 3 weeks.
Nice. So if any listener out there has a sippy cup or his drinks, we'll take it. We're going to make them do sippy cups, or else we're just going to have potato quality.
Yeah, please help me. Yeah. So in the last 24 hours, I've called myself every horrible name in the book. Literally, like, just waking up in the night going, like, why am I so stupid? So, yeah, not fun. And here we are recording on a pretty high-end potato.
Oh, yeah. The highest end potato. It's like an Android phone.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, speaking of spazzes, let's get into our topic of the day, which is learning to avoid the spazz, right? So, setting the tone here, I think we have all been there.
Totally, everyone. And like anyone, unless you're the brand new guy and you're the spazz, maybe you've encountered other spazz, but everyone's been there. Every club's been there. Every instructor has had to go and have the talk with the spazz and be like, hey, just chill out.
Yeah. Even as, just a regular blue belt, sometimes, man, you got to pull someone aside and just say, dude, we're not, not setting any records here. Chill out.
What?
Breathe.
All the white belts aren't ADCC champions.
And yeah, so, like you said, we've all seen the memes, white belt tornado, all that kind of stuff, white belt tomato. So, and a shout out to all the white belts out there, all the people who are just starting out. It does get better. It's going to get easier.
It gets easier. You start to learn what you're doing. And it's just part of the process. Everyone's like, oh, I hate rolling with them. And it's, I get it. You don't want to be injured. You have a job to go to, but also they need to learn how to roll.
Yeah.
So open communication is probably the best bet to help them along in their journey.
Why don't let's define what spazzing is in BJJ.
So, do we have an actual definition, or can I just give my long-winded bullshit?
Proceed. I have mine, but let's hear it from the black belt.
So, spazzing is using a crazy amount of strength, speed, or any other thing that's not really a technique, and it's generally you thrashing your limbs around and using every ounce of your energy in that 20-second interval to get out of a position that's not really that bad, but because it's so new to so many people, like a claustrophobic thing happens. They're like, I need to get out.
Yeah.
And they use every amount of that. And usually it's one of those emotional responses that they're just like, your brain goes fight or flight.
Yeah.
And they do both. And they're just like, I'm going to punch you in the ear.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And it just gets worse and worse and worse until it gets better.
Yeah.
Right? So
I think ego can get mixed up in there too, for sure.
Definitely. Ego, where you coming off the street and you actually think that, you've watched some UFCs and you're like, I can get out. And it's like,
or you're like, I'm strong. Yeah. So I'm going to muscle my way out of that.
Yeah, and then you put them in against the 17-year-old girl. She wrecks them. Haven.
Yeah.
There we go.
Got that out of the way.
But yeah, and it's like ego, it's watching stuff on TV, it's like watching UFC and thinking that you can do it, and thinking that you should use every ounce of strength in that first 30 seconds of a roll, which is a contained area where you should be just chilling and learning.
Yeah.
And then the next, however long your rolls are, if you're not rolling at least 5 minutes, you're come on, up the roll time. Let's go. We do 6 minutes.
At times we've done 8.
We do 8 for open mat, and then we do like 12-minute rounds whenever we want, but just when we want to push each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, if say you have a 5-minute round and you use all your energy in the first 30 seconds, Spazz, you don't use all your muscle, and like now you're breathing heavy and you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You usually just quit, and you're just like, oh, I'm done, and they tap out. It's like, if you learn to just chill, you can use that energy throughout that entire roll.
Yeah.
So you have another like 4.5 minutes.
And I think that's actually, for the white belts, for the beginners out there, I think a thing to take home isn't so much that, it does piss people off because it kind of wrecks the game, but it's also a huge impediment to learning. Because as we've said many times, at least at Dark Horse and any decent gym, the upper belts, they're not out to hurt you. They're not going to cause you any harm. But if you're panicking, you're freaking out, you're not breathing, you're using all your strength, you're just trying to muscle your way out of things, you're not picking up on the minutia of the moves that are being made, how to do them, the momentum. You're not picking any of that up. You're just focusing on freaking out. So it's an impediment.
It's an impediment for both you, and then like if it is a higher belt that's rolling with you, they don't want to get injured, so they're just gonna sit there in like half guard or in top mount, and they're just gonna be like, no, I don't want you to
put
elbow me.
Massive pressure on.
Yeah, well, you just don't want to get punched in the face and all this by like if it's like kickboxing or MMA. I mean, it's kind of the goal: get punched in the face, or not get punched in the face, but you still get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Right? Jiu Jitsu, we're trying to learn the techniques and the minutia, like you're saying, of these individual moves. And you, as a higher belt, you're just like, I need to go to work tomorrow. I'm going to protect myself from the Spazz and just crush them in that space. And say they use all their muscle, all their energy, and like this emotional energy that thrives off of it, pushes people to go, you're not going to move for the next 5 minutes. Yeah. Or you're going to tap and you're going to be like, this sucks.
Yeah. And I think like at the root of it too is understanding that winning doesn't matter when you're rolling, right? It doesn't matter at all, especially if you're coming in off the street. It's your first couple classes. No one expects you to win. Nobody thinks less of you if you don't win, because
realistically, you're not winning. It's we're playing a game when we're rolling. We're sparring. If you tap out, it's not a loss when we're rolling, when we're learning that. Yeah. It's not a win if you tap someone. Yeah. It is just a momentary pause in the game or a reset in the position, and then you go through it again. So many people come in and they're just like, I won. It's like and then like if they tap out the black belt or like a color belt, they're like, whoa, I'm awesome. It's I'm not gonna like discredit you, but you didn't tap him out because he wasn't trying. Right? Yeah, he was letting you move through. Yeah, and you were doing the right things. So any higher belt of any like credit will allow you to move through the motions as long as you're not crazy. As soon as you go crazy, as soon as you start spazzing, I'm not letting you injure. I'm not letting you even grab my arm because I know that a spastic arm bar is coming up. Yeah. Whether you know how to do a proper arm bar or not, you know that your arm's not supposed to bend that way. And they're going to try and bend it that way. Yeah.
And by the way, probably worth saying, I know there's some connotations around the word spazz that are, it shouldn't be used in any kind of derogatory way. It is the way it's spoken about in the common phrasing of jiu-jitsu. So no weird intent there. It's just what people say. So
Man, I don't even know
yeah.
anything else. I only know it through jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, totally.
No, I'm completely serious. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I've never heard it outside of jiu-jitsu. Like,
Yeah.
just being like a spaz. I mean, like, no, they totally just like go as hard as possible on every single thing.
And you know, so funny sort of thing to notice about that winning losing approach is sometimes you'll get people coming up to you if you're a no-gi and they'll be like, what belt are you? Because you know that, and then you know when they ask you that question that their intent is to win, so they can prove something to themselves. And then when I hear that question, I'm like, don't worry about it, man.
We've had people come through and they are fully intent, and they're like, they look for me because I'm the highest belt, and they're like, they have their camera set up. And I was like, I'm not going to be your highlight reel on YouTube.
Oh,
and I've seen it. I've had it twice where one guy, and then I've also had it where the guy, he's like, yeah, I'm going to have like a film crew come in, and like he's meaning one other guy come in and film his roles. So I was like, oh, who is this guy? And I looked at his Instagram, and all it is him going into these gyms, and he says that he's a white belt.
Oh,
and he tries to take on like everyone, and he like muscles through, and he's just like a super athletic guy.
Yeah.
And he just tries to like wreck everyone. He's like, look at this, I'm awesome. It's like, I mean, you can come in, but you're only rolling with me. And if you try any of that shit, I'm gonna wreck you. I'm gonna wreck you hard because I can see through your matches that you're losing in the comp scene, and you're just trying to go in and wreck people when they're just trying to play with you in an open setting.
That's like that. Remember that guy, that boxing guy?
Yeah. It's exactly like that, and that's what the one guy wanted to do.
Dude.
And two other guys did. They actually came in and tried that, and it was myself, and we had someone else here who I think was, I can't remember, but I was like, oh, you're gonna have a bad day. Because he tried it, and like,
where were they from?
One guy was from the States, and the other guy was from out east.
Oh man!
And I was like, and
so whack.
And I just knew it. I just knew it from the energy, and he grabbed one of like the white belts, wrecked them, and I was like,
what?
Yeah, I was like, okay, we're rolling next. And I went. That's probably one of the only times in my entire like life that I went 100%. I was like, you're not moving. You're not moving anywhere, and I'm going to wreck you with every single submission I know.
Yeah.
And I just went, like, rear naked choke, arm bars. I just did, like, a kidney crusher kind of thing. Went down, and I just went up, down, and back up. I was like,
you ran the gamut?
Yeah.
That's
I was
awesome.
like, you're not doing anything. And then he's like, oh, I can't believe that you caught me in those. I was like, you're not that good. And also, you're not rolling with anyone else but me. And this is going to be the only style of roll that I'll do with you because of what you did to that guy. And now you're going to post that, I guarantee you. And he did. He didn't post anything else, but he posted him wrecking one of our white belts. I was like, good job, buddy. That guy's been training 6 months.
Wow.
And then he left. He left after our roll.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, that's part of the deal when you're
wow,
douchebag.
What a loser, man. Yeah. Holy cow. That's crazy. And I mean, that really, you know.
Danny. It was Danny.
Oh, it was Danny.
Danny.
He's going to say.
Yeah, I sent him over to Danny. Danny. I was like, I gave Danny. There's only been a few times that I've been like, give Danny the go ahead.
Yeah.
And when Danny wants to go, Danny's good.
Yeah.
And this was when he was training like 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
And I was like, you don't let him do anything. And he's like, boy, he just gets this like shit-eating grin. He's like, oh yeah.
Dude.
And then Danny just wrecked him too. And I was like, and that was when Danny was like, I think he's a blue.
Yeah.
And just wrecked the guy. I was like, good.
And so what, did that guy even have a belt rank or what was it?
He competed at blue belt.
Okay.
Like in his Instagram, that's where he's competing at. Yeah, the rest of his Instagram, like he had his wins. He only ever posted wins, and then he had like, look what I went in and I fought the hardest guy and I beat him. It was like, and then I commented, he's a 6-month white belt. Like, that's not nothing. And then I was like, and then he blocked me and I was like, whatever, dude. Then I commented from the club He walked out. I was like, there we go.
People are insane, man. Like, I think the other thing is, like, not to get too far off the Spazz topic here, but like, people don't, you and I have both in different ways, like, followed or been involved in martial arts since we were super young. And like, I think like I've always been really aware of the kind of the ethos of martial arts, where it's like about honor, respect, tradition, shared knowledge and stuff like that. And it's like, there's a lot of people out there who just skip right by that, and they're like, I want to break someone's arm.
Oh, it happens, and I know like our club isn't really like traditional in a lot of senses, but we do have like the pass it down,
of
like,
course,
trickle down of knowledge, and like anything that I have, and I don't hold secrets. I actually want all my students and anyone that drops in.
Yeah.
Like when people drop in, like I show like my best stuff to them because I'm like, learn it. Then later on, I'm not able to use that same thing against you. I have to adapt my game. I'm never going to hold secrets.
Yeah. And I don't think like you need to have the trappings of like traditional martial arts. Like, you don't have to have swords on the wall, or like,
put swords on the wall.
I mean, I'm down with swords on the wall, don't get me wrong. But like, you don't have to have the trappings of it. As long as there's honor, respect, all that good stuff.
Big picture of myself.
A big picture of yourself.
Bow to.
Yeah, totally.
And a big picture of you for the Emmett show.
Yeah, for the Emmett show. Yeah.
That all our viewers will bow to when they start listening. Like, oh,
I mean, I think it's well earned.
Justified.
Totally justified. Yeah. But I think, like, to bring it back to the topic at hand, it's like spazzing out, I think, in part comes from this like notion, whether it's conscious or subconscious, that I have to win. But really, especially if you're a white belt, you're here to learn. Nobody cares if you win. Nobody expects you to win. We're here to help you learn. So calm down.
Nope. Yeah. Learn to breathe.
Learn to breathe.
Like that. That is like one of the easier ways to tell someone, like you tell them to slow down, they don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
And they don't. And so I've gotten away from like slow down. I actually go up to them and like on the shoulder, like when I see them rolling with someone, I'm like, I go up to them, I'm like, let's calm it down a little bit and let's breathe as we're doing these. And then you hear this kind of thing like I can breathe now. It's like, dude, just let's chill out.
Yeah.
And we're gonna move through the movements just a little bit slower.
Yeah.
And I think just that little change, rather than just being like slow down.
Yeah.
Kind of thing from like across the mat that nobody knows what the hell is going on. And just going up to them and being like, hey, but let's just calm down and let's breathe. Yeah. And they're like, oh, I can actually breathe right now.
Yeah.
And it kind of slows it down. For the most part, I gotta say, like, women, easiest ones to be like, hey, just let's go a little bit slower. Let's calm down a little bit. Like in these, when they're with men, when women roll with women and like there's something going on there, it generally tends to amp up a little bit quicker.
Oh, really? Interesting. I was going to say,
sometimes.
I think women in general, and I know this is a generalization, I'm going to get in trouble for it somehow, but it's a compliment, it's a positive thing, that I think women generally seem to have less like ego attachment than men do.
They do when they're rolling with men, because realistically, there's no like, a guy tapped me out.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Okay. But
interesting.
If they're going against another woman, like usually our club is actually relatively weird when you like see the women rolling with other women, but you see a growth in it right now. Is like when I first started and there's women, they were like go 100% because they've had to. They've had to have that, and then to roll with men, right?
Right.
And then when they go with other women, for whatever reason,
it starts to go tit for tat.
And it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, but now we're starting to see a shift. We're starting to see a shift where it's awesome and it's also extremely scary for everyone in a good way, because they're starting to group up and go, hey, if we all work together and share our knowledge and just like feed into each other this technique and get like our technique like amazing, they're building these women communities, and oh my goodness, it's just gonna like take over. You see out of like 101 Academy.
Oh yeah.
Annette and like all them and Rosie and all that, or Rose and all them over there. Rosie, sorry. But they're building like this crazy good community of women, and they're all just there to help one another get way better. And that's kind of like what we're doing here with Danielle and Ava. They're just building people up and they're bringing people in, and it's really cool to see.
Nice,
but
nice.
You're starting to see us less spaz and more, let's get this technique refined.
Yeah. So if you're a white belt, I think like maybe, I think you're talking about breathing is a good one. If you notice that you're not breathing, that's, if you notice that you're not breathing, that's a sign that you might be spazzing out.
Yep.
Another sign is if, especially gi, if you've been holding on tight for a long time and you're just keep pulling on those lapels.
If your knuckles hurt, that means that you've just been doing this the whole time and like squeezing.
Yeah.
Just chill.
Yeah, recognize that that's like a fear response, or it's an ego response, or it's like
heavy panting.
Heavy panting, yeah.
You need to just slow it down. Just listen to your body, and any upper belt work, they're like, to their credit, it should be like open to working with you through it and not just crushing you day in and day out.
Yeah.
As long as you're willing to work through it.
Yeah.
So if you find that, another one is if you find that you are just getting smushed and like not allowed to move, it might be because you've been spazzing out and they don't want to get injured. Nobody wants to get injured.
And there's a couple people, obviously not naming names here, but like at the gym who are athletic enough and strong enough and learning enough where it's like it becomes a hassle to roll with them too. And then it's like not because you'd lose, but because you think that there's a good chance you're going to get hurt because of the combination of athleticism, 100%ing, and some ability, but not enough to recognize that that's not the correct approach.
Yeah.
So I think to add to your point, if you see that people don't want to roll with you, they're like saying that, no, I'm good. That might be another sign that, you're spazzing out.
Oh, yeah. There's a couple of reasons behind that. One, maybe you're the spaz. Two, maybe you stink. Wash your shit.
Yeah.
We have it up on the board. And that was like one of the rules. Don't be a jerk. Wash your shit, because nobody wants to roll a stinky person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, or spaz. And a very good indicator is
if you're a stinky spaz.
Oh, man, you don't want that. Double. Oh, nobody wants double.
Damn. I bet I've been that on a couple days at least.
I know that I've had like times where I've had a smelly gi, and it's like, I can't wear it. And they're like, it's gi day. I'm like, sorry, can't do it. I have to go and rewash it. I just have like a thing in my head. I know I've smelled like burnt wood because I like to work with wood, like this chessboard and stuff. And like I've come out in cars being like, man, you smell like you've been around a campfire. It's like, well, I was in my like garage, like burning
That's not
wood.
horrible though.
Yeah, I know it's not a horrible stink, but I felt it in me. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But that stuff doesn't like just wash off in the shower. It comes out of your pores, so you have to sweat it out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, coming back to that, if people don't want to roll with you, you might be. A very good indicator is if the women of the club.
That's interesting. That is a really interesting point.
And like, if your club doesn't have women, there's probably like, if you're a woman in the sport and you're traveling around and that club doesn't have any, there's usually something going on. Not always. Some clubs just don't have that pull, or there's just know
Yeah.
women that actually want to do it, which is fair. But usually it's because it's just like I'm gonna smash through your guard and like all those forms and all that crap.
That's such a good point. Yeah.
That's what I've seen, and then like usually if I go, oh, they said no, I go and talk to them. I'm like, hey, what's up? And it's like, oh, well, he just rolls. Sorry, not he, but whoever it is,
sure.
just rolls too hard, or it's just dangerous for me. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll go talk to him. And then I go talk to him. I have no qualms about going and talking to anyone about being like too spastic, stinky, anything like that. That's my job. As an owner instructor, I'm like, nah, you're not getting away with that.
Yeah.
Whereas for whatever reason, people like kind of shy away from it or don't even go and talk. I'm like, nah, not here.
I think like speaking for myself as a blue belt, my role on the show is, there's a couple guys who are not that far behind me, but who are still doing that. And sometimes I kind of feel like, who am I to tell that guy what to do? I'll just avoid him, So I think that's why these types of guidelines are good to hear, because then it's, you don't really, it's hard. It's hard to tell someone they're stinky.
Oh,
it's like, especially as the owner, it's probably a bit of a different owner and black belt, probably a bit of a different dynamic.
Black belt.
Yeah, black belt.
You know what? On that, I'm supposed to get my first stripe.
Oh.
Yeah. Drew let me know. He's like, yeah, you're coming up to that. I was like,
oh, wow.
I beat a black belt for 3 years. That's insane.
That's awesome.
I didn't know.
That's not going to be a surprise. But...
No.
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm going to make him put it on like my belt that has the orange bar, not the red bar. Just be like,
nice. That's sweet, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know.
That's great.
I didn't know.
Congratulations.
He messaged me. He's like, yeah, we're going to set up a seminar. And yeah, you've come up for your stripe. I was like, oh yeah, it's no longer a surprise. It's just by time, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's by time. I didn't know.
Yeah, so
okay.
3 years for your first one.
Oh, I didn't know.
I don't know anything beyond that. I don't keep track.
So once you get that, you're probably going to start feeling a little more generous with stripes.
No, I'm going to actually be even worse. And I get one, you get -1. Because your stripes have to combine into my stripe.
Oh, you're eating the stripes.
Yeah. I think that's how it works.
I think so.
I'll talk to other black belts. So I'll be like, hey, how does this work?
Find out. Because people are asking.
Yeah.
People want to know.
And there could be like a 15-stripe blue belt because we can't change the podcast.
I know, yeah. I'll just be like wrecking people in blue belt competitions in like 6 years.
How long have you been a blue belt? 10 years. Oh, you must not train that often. 5 times a week.
I'm 80. So, okay, getting back to spazzing now here. I think, an important thing to identify is that beyond pissing people off, you're actually taking on some risk. You're injuring yourself, injuring your partner. If you're posting weird or you're, all kinds of flailing around, I think injury becomes a lot more possible.
And this can kind of come back to our club because we are leg lock heavy. If you spaz out of a leg lock,
oh yeah,
very high potential for blowing out your knee or ankle or whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you try and like spaz out of an arm bar, same thing. Very high potential for like injuring yourself without the partner doing anything. Just holding and being like, I have this arm bar, and then you start to do something and it like tweaks your own arm. And it's like, it's not really their fault.
Yeah.
And again, I guess we can go back into it where if you're spazzing out and you're not understanding that you're pretty much dead to rights, like they have that arm bar, they have that like heel or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You're generally not heel hooking spazzy people because well, they're new.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, I do.
I know. I mean, I'm gonna do it to like teenagers. I'm gonna say, hey, look at this dude.
Totally.
But like, with people that are just coming into it, and you're like, I've seen it on our mats, where a person's been in an armbar and they're just trying to like spaz out, and then they injure themselves. I'm like, and like the guy feels super bad. I'm like, it wasn't really your fault. Like looking at the footage or looking at whatever, or just watching. Like it wasn't your fault. It was because they just did a super weird move because
totally,
or they just stayed there and they didn't understand what was going on. We do a catch and release. We're pretty good about that. Like where you have an arm bar.
Yeah.
And if they don't know what they're in or they don't want to attack, you just let it go. You're just like, it's not that big of a thing. But when you're just starting out and you're like that 3-stripe white belt, you're like, oh, I have an arm bar.
Oh,
I actually got it.
Yeah.
And then someone spazzes out and you're just like, oh shit. And like it pops.
Excuse me.
You're just like, oh.
Yeah.
And like you feel bad, but realistically, if they would have slowed it down, they would have been like, oh, I'm cooked.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tap. We can reset that.
I think like, where my mind goes with that is, I always try to look for like metaphors or equivalents in other things, and it's like,
oh, we're going back to the piano.
No.
Oh
no. What I want to say is
the loop.
It's always back to the loop. The French horn. Can we call a move the French horn?
We can find one.
Yeah. What was that one that you said tonight? That
the Scorpion Death Lock?
The one that you said you'd never seen someone else do it. That leg lock from.
I don't even have a name for it.
French horn.
French horn done.
Boom.
All right. We'll tell the rest of the crew that this stupid leg lock.
You gotta blow the toe.
Yeah. Wow.
Toe blowing.
I'm gonna have to like put a disclaimer.
Yes. Gross.
French horn.
The French horn. Yeah. But what I was gonna say is like, there's not really a situation in life or in any sport where panicking is going to help. There's just not a situation where panicking helps. Like, I'm a terrible kayaker, but I know one thing, which is if you turn over and you immediately start panicking because you need air, you're coming out, you're going to swim, it's going to suck. But if you don't panic and you try and, roll, you're going to at least give yourself a chance to get back up. Sure. Again, I suck at kayaking, but pick a situation in life, panicking doesn't help. So,
I mean, if you panic in like a social situation where you're just like, I don't want to be here, you can panic your way out.
Sure, yeah, and I've probably done that.
Just the Irish exit. You're just like, nobody's looking. Jump through a window. What the hell is Emmett doing?
You were right, panicking hell.
Panicking.
But like, especially when like, and I think the comparison I'm drawing there to kayaking is like, it's actually about breath, right? It's like, okay, I can't breathe right now, but the last thing I should be doing is panicking.
Getting that puff of straight water into the lungs. That's horrible.
Yeah, that's how it feels being crushed by you sometimes. Like I'm breathing water, but yeah,
it's the mother smoke just
into. It's it's awesome, but it's also like it's double-edged sword because it sucks, but it's funny and awesome. How I feel like every time we roll it, I can anticipate things enough that I know it's coming, and then we start laughing. But then I start running out of breath because I'm laughing. And then it's like, oh, this sucks, but it's so funny.
Oh man, I was rolling with one of our guys, and he's like decent white belt, and so I had his back. And then I handcuffed his arm behind him.
Yeah.
And then I handcuffed his other arm in front of him down by his belly button.
Yeah.
And like I was using my leg on the other arm, so I had one arm free. And I just did like that extremely slow motion coming up and around, and then like right across his face.
Yeah.
And he's not a spaz, but when you have that happening, he tried everything. Like he kicked off the wall and did a flip, and I just laughed as I was holding it. And like funny. I was like, this is, and like I'm in tears laughing.
Yeah.
And then we finally got done, and he's like, that was the worst thing I've ever like. And I do it to him it's a challenge.
Yeah.
He's a pretty good mouthpiece.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, you're ready to get wrecked. And that's the kind of thing.
Yeah. That was Danny. If you did that to Danny, like I'd be like, "Okay, Danny, time to get yours." You know, he'd be like, "Oh, I'm just."
Yeah, and that's what I do. I'm like, it's so funny. But I was just like the extreme slow motion of this hand coming around, and then like it was like open fingers, and then I closed them, and then I pinched his nose, and he just starts like
nose pinch.
Yeah, and he just flailing. I was like, I had tears like rolling down my eyes laughing.
I would just start talking like Bane if you did that to me. Like, look at you, man. Like,
the problem is I have like this thing that I'll just cup under the jaw, so you can't even open your mouth.
Oh, that's horrible.
And then you're like breathing heavy through your nose, and then you pinch the nose.
Do you do that? Did you do that in the blue belt tests? Do you do that in the blue belt test? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Yeah. Oh man.
If you're gonna spaz, that's the time that you're gonna panic spaz.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that my blue belts, well, they're gonna do it, but in a controlled way.
Yeah. Do other clubs do the blue belt test the way we do the blue belt test?
So some of them do. I know that like ours is a variation of Champions Creed because that's who we used to be under.
Yeah.
And I kind of borrowed it from them, but it's evolved quite a bit since then. Like I like to take out moves, put in moves, add little variables kind of thing. But some do. Yeah. Some just make you roll for like 2 hours and then beat you with the belt kind of thing. Yeah, there's a bunch of weird like things, and then some you're just like you did good in a tournament, you get a blue belt.
Right. But you know, I think you make an interesting point there about overcoming the spaz is actually a huge milestone that, correct me if I'm wrong, it is a milestone and a component of earning your blue belt. Is where it's like, okay, you know, I can be crushing this guy or person. I can be crushing this person. They can be in a bad situation and they're still breathing and they're still looking for a way out. They're still using their brain and not freaking out. Like that's a big milestone
for us for sure. Yeah. It's being able to survive. Yeah, big one. Knowing at least the fundamental moves, which is like the curriculum that we have, and then not freaking out when putting pressure. And that's why we do the pressure test at the end, where you roll with all the higher belts.
Right.
And we put you through that, and you're dead tired. You want to puke. You want to quit. Yeah. If you quit, you're not getting it. Yeah. If you puke, I don't care. Go puke. As long as you come back on, you're good.
No one's ever quit, right?
No. Yeah. I won't let you do the test.
Yeah, if there's an even inkling of it.
Yeah, and there's we had one that was like kind of on the fence, but then I had other like blue belts rolling with them, and they're like, you know what, they deserve it. And I was like, you know what, I take everyone's opinion into consideration. I was like, okay, I'll roll with them a couple times. They quit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not going to get. And to their credit, they didn't quit. They were like, "Oh, I'm so tired." I'm like, "I don't care. Keep going. I don't care. Yeah. The test is going to be way worse."
Was that me? I don't know.
And that's why I'm being ambiguous about it. I'm not letting this guy know.
I'm so tired and hungry.
Yeah.
Can I just get a cheeseburger, please? But you know, I think too, and I don't know. Let me know if I'm being too like poetic about this, but I feel like getting there is also symbolic of the fact that now you're actually ready to learn. You're adopting the learning mindset because you're getting out of the freaking out. So, you know, like
I think like that, like 2 to 3 stripe on the white belt. Yeah, that's where I start to go. Okay, they're ready to start learning. Right. They're getting towards it.
Right.
I mean, a lot of clubs, not a lot, sorry. Some clubs do like stripes per however many times you attended. They have a little app that's like, oh, you attended 90 times. Here's your next stripe. Here's your next belt. Here's this thing. Or they don't get a belt because they didn't attend enough. It's like, yeah, but he's wrecking everyone. That's weird to me. Yeah. I take individual looks at everyone. Like, I look like I'm on my phone I do that for a purpose. I do that on purpose to make people like, oh, nobody's watching.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be watching.
Some of us know better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, anyone that's like a color belt under me understands what's going on. I'm just like looking like Kubrick stare. Just like, and then when like I see them about to look over, I look down at my phone. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm playing Pokemon or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and then they keep rolling, and I look and I watch, and as long as they have the right movements, that's where you're getting your progression through me.
Yeah.
So if you're not getting any progression, check your rolling.
So how does a white belt who wants to kind of get through that? What are some tips maybe to start gaining a little more control? Like we talked about, like breathing. One thing we always talk about, because it's one of the few things I actually know, is getting to your side, to not get crushed. What are some other things? Like, is it flow rolling? Is it like positional sparring? Like what are some other tips that people can learn to kind of gain control of their movements, their motions, and emotions?
Flow rolling's a good one.
Yeah.
Understanding like one of the ones that I really like to do, and I do it with like teenagers because they're just full of piss and vinegar. They're just like, let's go.
Yeah.
Is roll with your eyes closed. Because then it just changes everything.
Yeah.
If you have to roll with your eyes closed, it changes everything. So I would just like, if you want to try that, talk with your partner and be like, hey, you want to try this? As long as like the mats aren't super packed. Be like, hey, let's roll with our eyes closed and see what happens.
Doesn't work as well with striking class, but
I mean, it could. I've seen like blindfold Thai kickboxing.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Damn, you guys are psychos. But like that rolling or even chest sparring. And if you don't know what chest sparring is, it's where you each just take like the maximum. Like you're sitting there like a chessboard, like these little pieces here, and you're moving just one component at a time. You get a lapel grip, then it's their turn, and they can counter with like a grip strip, or they can counter with their own grip, or like they move their butt in for a sweep, and then like you go one for one, and then you start to learn, okay, it's not super scary. We can take our time. We can control our movements through this. So like chest sparring, rolling with your eyes closed, flow rolling. Flow rolling is one of those hard ones.
Yeah, it's a bit almost like too advanced.
If you can learn to do it at a lower 1-2 strike white belt, man, you'll find that your game and everything just like torpedoes.
Oh, really?
It's crazy because you start to go, oh, this isn't that scary. This isn't that bad. I can move, and then you start to play, and once you start to learn how to play, you start to learn how to have like good movement that's not just killing your cardio.
Yeah.
Once your cardio is gone, that's when you start to go, I'm panicking.
I think too, like you use the term game, and I think returning to the fact that at least in the gym, it's a game.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to play any game where the other person's freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like you're ruining the game, man. Like.
Who wants to play like tennis against a guy that like smashes his racket because he lost? It's like no. We are playing a game.
This is a game.
It's a game with dire consequences if you do it wrong, or if you're in a competition and you're like tap.
Sure.
But on the mats, it is a game. I mean, I make jokes about it just to make it more light. Like if you're in the gi, we're in the fighting pajamas.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
We make light of it because we want people to play.
Yeah.
That's the ideal. And if you get into that play mode as well, like you have like flow rolling, if you get into that, you get a little bit more play. But if you have that play mindset, man, does your like everything just like retains a lot more off of that, because there's been crazy amounts of studies where in play you actually learn a lot faster and you retain a lot more.
And man, the competition that I helped out at, whatever that was, 2 summers ago now, I was doing the scorekeeping for some of the kids ones. And there was these two, I think it was like a brother and a sister. And I score kept for I think, a couple of the sisters' matches, young kids, right? And she was going up against opponents who, like, you could see their face was just like, like just so intense. And she was just sort of like, I'm not gonna say smiling, but you could tell she was like relaxed and like just sort of like having a decently good time. And she just mopped the floor with everybody.
Those are the most scary people.
Yeah.
I actually, when I first started, I was like trying to emulate that, and it just became my thing. Like I'm pretty happy. I'll talk to my opponent. I'll cheer. I'll talk to them. I had a thing where like I subbed an opponent with a leg lock from like a single leg X kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I subbed him, and then right after that, we went off to the side and started working how he could defend that. And he's like, dude, this is crazy. I was like, well, we're not going to compete again today. We'll probably compete again. And I've competed against him like tons of times since.
Yeah.
I was like, well, if you want to learn, let's go. And he's like, really? I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then,
it's a game.
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not making money off of this. Let's go. Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, I'm more of a community guy.
Yeah.
I'll compete as much as I can. Until the wheels fall off, I'm going.
Totally.
But I'm here to build the community in a way that I think is positive. Totally. And that's been my whole thing.
It's not like it's in the UFC and you're like, here, let me show you this awesome move. It's like, let's.
I'd probably still show them the move or whatever. Yeah. If you hit me with it, I'll give you money.
But yeah, what about things like, it's actually, I think it's one of those circumstances where it's one thing to just say it and it's another thing to explain it a little more depth. Breathing. What does that really mean? Like, is it techniques? Is it positional? Is it being cognizant and conscious of your breathing? What does it mean when you tell someone to breathe?
If I have to tell you to breathe, you should start to be more conscious about what's coming into your lungs and what's going out and at what rate.
Yeah.
Realistic.
As I take a big He's so nervous.
Yeah. Because you're in the room with like the best black belt. Almost a one-stripe black belt.
Yeah. Time base.
Even in merit.
I think I might want to just quit.
Terrible. I have my attendance records to show.
Yeah. It's been 3 years.
Come on, Drew. Come on.
But brought a video crew of one guy.
Yeah. And I bought the belt off of Amazon.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
A mariachi band.
I don't even know what we were talking about.
Yeah, what were we talking about? I totally forgot what we were talking about. Breathing. Yeah. Breathing.
One way that you can actually help is just being on your side ever so slightly.
Yeah.
If you're like flat on your back, you can have the breath and wind squished out of you. Another cool thing that you can do is you can breathe with your diaphragm.
Yeah.
Hicks and Gracie, a whole bunch of people actually talk about it, and like I went to I think he's a physio or a chiropractor or something like that, and like I got spiked, so I got picked up and then spiked, and like it just compressed my spine, and I was like walking around like a Goomba. I was like turning nothing could move.
Yeah.
So I was going to him, and he was kind of helping me out. He knows wrestling, so he's like, okay, I understand wrestling.
Is that Torn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what's his business.
Yeah, he's a chiropractor. Yeah.
But he was like, okay, well, let's work on a couple of things, and he's fixing me, and then he's like, let's see how you breathe, and I'm just like all chest breathing. And he's like,
you start breathing like a pug.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, just absolutely terrible. But like,
it's a good start.
And then he puts his hand under my like lower back. He's like, you're not breathing with your diaphragm at all. I was like, what does that mean? And then like he taught me how to breathe with my diaphragm. And that, if you can breathe with your diaphragm while rolling, and if you can be conscious about that, it's so much better.
There's a really good, first of all, I go see him too. He's great. Yeah.
I only saw him like for the 2 months that I needed to have all my stuff.
I get the full neck crack treatment because like I get headaches up through here because I'm just so intensely awesome at jiu-jitsu.
Too much knowledge up here that is just like cranking on your neck.
But I think now I forgot what I was going to say again. So, yeah,
it's going to be an interesting episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like how you're like, forgot what I was thinking about, but yeah, we're good.
A really great book, Breathing for Warriors. It teaches you in great detail how to breathe with your diaphragm.
Nice.
Yeah, like exhaustive detail.
It's a game changer if you can do that.
Yeah.
It truly is. Hicks and Gracie in the book Breathe.
Yeah.
He talks about it a little bit. If you've ever watched The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
Oh yeah. There's a scene with Hicks and Gracie.
It's Hicks and Gracie showing them. I think it's called like Dragon Belly or some. Yeah. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, but it's like that yoga breathing.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's one of the best of all time. He was the best in his time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's some merit to it. And
totally.
Learning how to breathe is going to be a great way for those Spazz people that are like, I don't know what I'm doing. Just take a breath. To see if you have to go like a huge inhale, that means that you're probably holding your breath.
Yeah.
Just chill out. Breathe a little bit.
I think too, like being open to feedback and asking questions. You know, like, hey, not just of others, but of yourself. Like, what am I trying to accomplish in this position right now? What am I trying to accomplish right now in this role? And 9 times out of 10, when you're a white belt, what you're trying to accomplish is surviving,
not dying.
Yeah. Am I breathing? Like,
it helps to have a goal. It takes a little bit to understand how to set a goal while you're rolling. I feel. And I do often talk about it. I talk about having a notebook, writing it like an actual pen to paper notebook.
Yeah.
I understand that everything is digital these days, but there's something, and I think that there is research behind it. There's something behind it. If this is how you learn, like try pen to paper and write out goals. Be like, hey, I'm not going to get exhausted within the first minute of this roll.
Right.
And if you set that one tiny little goal, you know, like, and you think about it consciously,
totally,
you're going to start to go, okay, I can survive 2 minutes. I can survive 3 minutes without being absolutely wrecked. And you can build it up that way too. Setting little goals is a big thing. And then, and don't just make them achievable within one roll.
Yeah.
Make it like a short-term goal, like a month, 2 months.
Yeah. Then
make a mid-term goal. Like, I'm going to be able to roll 5 times at an open mat and in a row. Kind of like. And then you build it up from there. And then you make long-term goals where you're like, those are the ones that you're like, I want to get to this level. I want to be able to compete at this level. I want to be able to survive against whoever in the gym.
Yeah.
And setting goals is a big thing.
And those can, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, those can sound like, did I stay calm?
Yep.
Did I learn something new? And you know, again, kind of like losing that winning losing mentality.
Yeah, that should be like the first step that you need to like just get out of your head. Now there are some gyms that have like, no, you're winning that roll, you're winning it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they're like, that's definitely not my style. I'd be able to train there right now because I have skill behind me.
Yeah.
But I mean, not my thing. Getting rid of that win-lose in sparring, in rolling. If you think of rolling as a game, and it's not a game to win and lose, it's a game to better yourself.
To get feedback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what you should be thinking. And that will help the mental state of being a Spazz grow so much more.
Yeah.
And it'll be, once you start thinking of that way, everything towards that spazziness will become irrelevant because you'll understand, oh yeah, I don't have to worry about tapping 20 times.
Yeah.
I can tap 20 times. That's 20 ways that I should start learning not to do that thing.
Yeah. Tap early, tap often, as you always say. What else? What else about spazzing out?
I think that we covered quite a bit of it. There's so many things, and like another little like tidbit, like I know that we talked a lot about like just being in the gym as like with spazzes and stuff like that, like white belt spazzing at your own gym and all that. There's spazzes at competitions too.
Oh yeah.
So I think
that's scary.
It is. And like you talk to anyone like that, a blue belt, purple belt, they don't want to go against that spaz because they don't know what the hell they're doing. And you're just like, oh, this guy's gonna poke me in the eye, hit me with an elbow,
freak out.
Yeah, and it's like there are tournament spaz, and it's not just white belt.
Yeah,
it goes all the way up. I saw one guy. There was a guy. I think I was a brown belt, and I was competing in, or no, maybe I was a purple belt competing in the brown belt division. And this guy was overweight, and like our weight division, it wasn't like an absolute, but he was one of the lighter ones. But he had agreed, like he's going to be at that weight, so make that weight.
Sure.
And he was like freaking out to the point like he was like scream yelling at the promoter, and I was like, dude, you missed weight, like it's on you. It's your fault. Yeah. And like that's one of those spazzy moments. And he's like, oh, I can't believe it. He's just like freaking out. Yeah. And then the promoter came up to like the 3 or 4 of us in the division. And he's like, honestly, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Do you want to allow him to come in? Yeah. And he's like, he's a really good guy. Like the promoter, really good guy. And he's like, dude, do me a favor. And we just looked at each other and I was like, yeah, we don't care. Yeah. We just care about like
how he's acting.
Yeah, like I don't want to be with like Spazzy McSpazz or Tin over there. Like, get out of here. Yeah. But we allowed it, and he did really good. But like that just put a sour taste in us. Like, man, you're a brown belt and you're acting like that. Yeah. Like it's like a little kid having a tantrum.
Dude, it's like, it's like when you're driving. Man, I was driving in Calgary yesterday, and this old man, like oldish, 60-ish. It's like, you know what? It's like noon. So, he's not driving to work. And he's just like so pissed off driving up behind this other car. And then he like weaves in front of me and weaves. And it's like, dude, so this is what I'm talking about with panic. That you're in a panic, heightened state of emotion over nothing. You're putting people's lives at risk, including your own. Because you can't just be like, this doesn't matter as much as I'm making it out to matter. I know it's a total kind of like, departure, but like it's that heightened emotion that you got to learn to kind of like just be like, everything's okay.
Just chill. And but I guess those spazzes, you see it not just white belts. Yeah, I've seen spazzy ass blue belts, spazzy ass purple belts, where they just it's all athleticism and like people that go against them, they're just like, oh, that sucks. You just see them and they're just deflated because one, they just know that this guy's gonna, and it's a local tournament. Yeah. Like you're not winning the ADCC or an IBJJF Worlds. Yeah. Also, I'm gonna do a little segue. Yeah. If you win IBJJF Worlds at like blue belt or purple belt or brown belt, you're not an IBJJF World Champion. I'm sorry.
It's
you're
still
not.
Pretty good.
Yeah, no. I'm not discrediting how good it is at your level. Right. But those people that put in their thing, right. You're a blue belt. Right. Like at least be putting in the proper thing. You're a blue belt world champion. You're not a IBJJF world champion. Right. You're a blue belt world champion. Right. Like be honest with yourselves.
I mean, yeah,
I've
I
just
gotta
seen
say, I think that's still pretty good, but yeah.
it's awesome. It is. It's really good, but you're misrepresenting yourself. I think that's just my personal like little feedback. I just look at it and it's just cringy and
Yeah,
like
cringy.
maybe and it happened to me. I thought I was sponsored there for a little bit through one guy when I was a blue belt, and it's a pyramid scheme. But I was like, oh, I'm sponsored. I was like, oh no, I wasn't. I was part of this pyramid scheme, but I did get a couple free rash guards, so I was like, yeah, I'll take it. But yeah,
those Madoff rash guards, the Bernie Madoff rash guards that you had.
That was it was P for P. So Dan.
Oh, okay.
I have one, and Dan has one of the original. I think Carter has his like brown one too.
Oh, okay.
But like super old school. Like I got it as a blue belt.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have too much else to say about spazzing out. I do have another scrap story. If you want to get into that, this is a kind of a crazy one in which I play no heroic role, but it's a funny one. It's a crazy one.
Nice.
Do you want to get into that?
Yeah,
anything else to cap it off with Spazz now?
I think just chill. Like there and like at all levels in the gym. Just learn to breathe, learn to have fun, play around, learn to play.
Yeah.
If your gym can allow you to play, you might need to like check your gym.
Yeah.
Some are super uber like level gyms.
Yeah.
Where if that's where you want to be, cool. They know what to do with spasm. They're just gonna beat the shit out of you forever, and then you might like build yourself up out of that, or you might just quit forever. And that's the kind of gym that they're gonna do. If you're in mine, chill out. Just we're playing a game.
Yeah.
And if you want to compete, we compete with some of the best in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
But we compete while having fun. You should have fun while you do it. You're paying to do this.
Yeah.
If you're competing, and I mean, you look around and you see these guys just roll their eyes when you're like doing your like shadow boxing and bullshit in the bullpen, or you're running back and forth. There's a guy at sub ace that was like running. I don't know why. He's just running back and forth on these warm movements. I'm like, dude, piss off. Like, I'm here stretching.
Yeah.
Piss off. Like, go run outside. And like, he'd go in between his matches. He's you're
wrecking the vibe.
Yeah, you're the worst human being. Like, a little chill.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not little. Sub ace is
a
good tournament. But it's middle of Alberta.
Totally.
You're not at ADCC. You're not at World Black Belt. Just chill.
Like headphones on.
Yeah, and I've seen it the entire time. Like individual people, and I'm just like, oh,
yeah.
And
I think it's like
crazy.
It's kind of comes down to main character syndrome thing too, where it's like you said, like, oh, I'm the blue belt world champ. Like,
no, they're the world.
They're the world champ. Yeah. But like,
white belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Like, just don't be that guy. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be known as that guy, especially in a small community.
Oh man.
Everybody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to roll with you. Nobody, like, you're the kind of guy that's only gonna do open mats at your gym because nobody else around wants you there.
Oh yeah. That's horrible. So I think, like, for me, adopting a learning mindset, like you said, realizing it's a game, leaving ego behind, and just tap early, tap often, and understand that tapping is feedback. It's not losing. It's not losing. Yeah.
Learn to breathe.
And learn to breathe. Yeah.
Breathe with your diaphragm.
Breathe with your diaphragm.
And if you don't know how, there's books.
Yeah.
Let's jump in it.
The scrap story?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is probably 15 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. I'm at a bar in Vancouver, the Anza Club.
Goodness, another Vancouver.
This is the Anza Club, and so it's like the Australia-New Zealand social club. It's like in a basement in a neighborhood, and it was an awesome place. It got pretty wild in there, and so I'm in there, and I had a girlfriend at the time who, like, we're just kind of like milling around. Everyone's milling around because we knew most of the people in there. And she walks by this guy who's like kind of leaning up against the bar, and he says something to her, and she's like, "No, no, thanks, man. You know, like not interested." And then I'm just being nice because I'd had many beers. And I'm like, "How's it going, man?" And he was just like fuck off or something. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And
off I will fuck.
Off I go fucking then, sir.
Yeah.
And then and there's a pool table. I got to mention there's a pool table there. And and then he's kind of like almost not even as far away as like where you are. And a buddy of mine, but now he's kind of moved away from the bar. And a buddy of mine, who's wearing cowboy boots and a cowboy hat, is now leaning against the bar. And I've had many drinks, so I'm like pretty oblivious to what's going on. And then all of a sudden, I look over, and that guy, the original guy who kind of like started talking to me, I see that he has a pool ball in a sock, and he's going like this, and he's about to whack me with it. And then I see my buddy's foot, cowboy booted foot, come up in between that guy's legs from behind and just boot him in the nuts as hard as he could. That guy goes to the ground, and now I'm in. So like and his also hit that guy's buddy, starts like scrapping with like what my other friend there. But I go down to like, I'm just get on top of this guy, and I'm just gonna headbutt him in the face. So I take my head back like this, and then we knew these two guys in Vancouver who were both, I think, I forget how tall they were, but they were over 7 feet. And I just feel this giant hand go like this, and I'm just going like trying to headbutt this guy. This guy's giant hand is on my head like this, and he kind of pulls me off, and the cops came, and like they totally like just pulled everyone apart. And turns out that this guy and his buddy had just gotten out of jail like that day, and were just looking to like mess some people up.
Well,
But like had that guy Scott not kicked this guy in the nuts, I would have got a pool ball to the face.
dude, that's a serious damage.
That's like brain damage, dude.
Who just has a pool ball?
Well, yeah, I don't know how that he like must have.
He just takes off his shoe.
Must have taken off his shoe.
Sock.
Yeah, like
it is an actual like a legit weapon that I've seen people just put in their back pocket.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like there's I'll have to come into some crazy stories of like shit I've seen.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wild, man. And like, to be honest, I don't remember if there must have been a pool table, but it could have also just been like he had a pool ball in his sock in his pocket, I guess.
Yeah, there's potential for it. I've seen it. I've seen like a roll of dimes and stuff get smashed.
Yeah.
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 Well, side note, have you ever been hit by a pool cue?
No,
those hurt. I'll give you a little insight. They're not fun.
They don't feel nice. That's interesting. Man, yeah, like that's the thing about fighting is like it seems like it's gonna be like a dust up, but man, you get seriously hurt getting into some scraps on the street. Like a friend of mine got his face bashed with a metal pipe at one point, had to get reconstructive surgery, like all kinds of shit, man.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
It's not worth it.
The best way to like defend yourself is just not be there.
Yeah.
Just get out and run. You're not Achilles. You're not taking on an army. You're getting wrecked, or something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right? That's what's in my mind. Like I've been through enough fights in my life where I think the only maybe a handful have been one-on-one.
Oh, really?
And like all the rest are just like crazy scraps and like pool cues, chairs. I've talked about getting stabbed.
Yeah.
I think I only told the one story.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got
we'll tell a fight story in another one.
Okay.
Yeah. I got it. That one's. If you thought the first one was like
Oh
crazy.
man,
This one-
I'm gonna tune in to the next episode.
yeah, that one's actually even worse. There's a lot of stuff that went down in that one. And then like just hockey fights. Hockey fights are easy because it's just one-on-one. You grab the guy's jersey and you just start punching each other in the face. It's awesome.
It's like no, and actually there's not no technique. There's some technique.
Dude, there's and if you're good at it, you're really good at it. A lot of people just go, oh, it's just hockey, but you just grab and start punching. Like we make fun of it, but when I shoot, I'm right-handed.
Right.
When I fight, I'm left-handed.
Oh, really?
So I fight out of a southpaw stance.
Oh, interesting.
So I had this thing, which was to my advantage. I would, like most people are right-handed, so they grab with their left and punch with their right.
Yeah.
I would go in and I'd look like a orthodox fighter, right-handed fighter.
Yeah.
And I would reach with a punch with my right hand, grab, and then just start walloping with my left.
Right.
And my left hand I'm really accurate with my left hand.
Yeah.
I'm probably more powerful with my right.
So you're basically kind of framing within their arms and just getting the inside position.
Yeah, and I just step in, grab, and now I have the advantage of inside position. I would I don't know what it's called now, but back when I was playing as midget hockey.
Yeah.
So like 17, 18-year-olds, and I wallop so many people using that technique. And then they start getting wise and they're like, oh, he does this. So then people in the league would be like, oh, okay, it's that guy. We're going to make sure, like, if we ever fight that guy, we know what's coming up. But then I got to juniors and I did the same thing. I became an enforcer in juniors.
Oh, really?
Man, that sucked.
Why? Oh, because you don't get to really play. You just have to.
I had a decent defensive game. I was a good defenseman. But I think I just had hard knuckles and a thick skull. So I'm like, I guess I'm that guy.
Yeah.
And I played on a native team up north of Lloyd. And all I did was like fight.
Oh man. And like you like legit had a hard Scrabble upbringing.
Oh yeah. Really crazy.
You are much tougher than me.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that. But honestly, it's
also not hard to reach that milestone. Like that's,
this peg is hard.
Yeah, I drink tea with my pinky out. So,
but yeah, it's just like my role is I'm just good at it. I'm sure that there's a crazy amount of concussions that came from it, but I was good at it. Yeah. I remember coming back to college one day because I was in college going to be a teacher. And I had to go in and teach like the kindergarten and grade 1 class, a phys ed class.
Yeah. And you're just punching them in the face.
No, it was like the day after one of our games. So I walk in and I just have like this giant black eye and like a busted lip. I'm like, okay, kids, now we're gonna play dodgeball. And this is like, and like all the teachers were like, that guy can't do this. No.
Oh, man.
And I was like,
this might not be for you.
What'd you fucking say? Yeah, I was like, what? But yeah, that was mine.
Oh man. Yeah, but like as much as it's awesome to learn jiu-jitsu and like learn martial arts, I feel like we probably talked about this on the show before, but like I feel like the more you learn, the more you're like, dude, I'm never getting into a street fight.
That's why most martial artists aren't getting in it because they want to train the next day.
Yeah.
And if you get into a bar fight, you have to be a special kind of stupid or like ego. You have to be like, oh, I'm the biggest guy that knows this stuff and go in and get a bar fight.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm in a bar, I'm looking around for every exit. I'm looking around for things to put in between myself and anyone else. And then I'm like, I am out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not of that life anymore.
Yeah.
I've been too many times.
And like even not having had a very hard Scrabble upbringing, but having been in many, many bars and being very stupid young man, drunk and like, ego driven and all that, like I feel lucky to never have really had a bad injury or like been stabbed or like, it's like, man, being a young man, you're lucky to get out of that shit in one piece. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know,
I'm surprised I'm here.
yeah,
Like my wife is like, I don't know how you made us. I don't know. Like I remember going over. I listed off all the bones I've broken in my life, and she's like, "When are we like? Are we still going?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." So that was like when I was a kid. So then when I became a teenager, she's like, "What?"
that was 0 to 3 months.
Yeah.
And then, like, you're like, what's it, Mr. Glass?
Yeah, man. But it's not like brittle bones. This is
Yeah. Oh,
doing
man.
crazy shit.
Oh man, that sucks. I broke my pinky once from drinking a tea that was too heavy.
You hit it on the table.
Yeah.
You're like, owie.
I need a splint. Yeah. So I think that's about it for surviving the spaz. Should I say the tagline one more time?
Yeah, let's go.
What was it? Managing your emotions and emotions as one. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna throw that on the tagline, anyways. And also, we're just gonna give him a little bit more shame. Sorry about the video. Thank you for sticking around this long.
Yeah.
We do have some things in store for you for the next one, and we also have a kind of couple of cool shoutouts. One, defending awesome for the sweet ass hats, and yeah, we possibly have someone giving us some merch for the next one. So stick around, see what we have cooked up.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
So I guess other than that, we'll catch you on the flip side.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.